Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time we began Case 2 here, where Ryunosuke stowed away on the ship with Kazuma to get to Britain. Unfortunately, Kazuma wound up dead, and now we're under accusation of being the murderer because we were locked in here and no one else could have gotten in. But anyway, Susato here is with us, and we also have the option of speaking with Herlock Sholmes, I believe his name is, right here as he's in the room doing whatever this is. Let's see what we can get out of him. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. No, seriously, what the heck is he doing? Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Oh my gosh. Greetings! I hope I haven't kept you waiting. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? I also really want to find out what these magic goggles he's got going on are all about. Because, like, I rewatched the intro from the first, from the last video, I should say. And yeah, he just, like, saw Ryunosuke through the doors of the wardrobe. Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. It's because he is. Oh, yes. Everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, what? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? Oh, he's not talking about Ryunosuke. How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It's really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madame. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. Okay, so he is just wrong about everything. Okay. You have 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Okay, so he isn't just like a perfect detective, is what I'm gathering here. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. What if he does end up being right about that, and the person who did kill Kazuma was a Russian assassin with 16 victims? So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way Hiya! Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. I thought I was going to have another conversation upside down there. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. But was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Yeah, that part's fine. Ha! There you have it, you see? What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, This ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder, so I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Yeah, it's your fault I'm in this, miss. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Ha. I don't think you introduced yourself. My apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Herlock Sholmes. Again, such a ridiculous name. Someone in the comments of the last video pointed out to me that this is actually like a name that has been used like way before this game was even made. Like it's like a way of avoiding the copyright on the name Sherlock Holmes. Which conveniently, right? I think Sherlock Holmes actually came out of or it's in the public domain. Like it came into the public domain like relatively recently, from what I've heard, too. Along with Steamboat Willie, that's coming into the public domain too. Alright, so it's really you? The actual Herlock Sholmes? It's gonna be so weird to say every time. Like, I feel like I might say Sherlock at some point. The very same! The inimitable, actual Herlock Sholmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? I wonder what he thinks about the thing over the wardrobe. Tell me about yourself. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I'm none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German. Herlock, was it? No. I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh, yes. Rants magazine, full of wondrous short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah, yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then? Indeed I am. When you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detective achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Ooh, about that. Ooh. How do we break this to him? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really, I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science, logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance of a twitch of muscle, a slight inclination of posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can you look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a term both for observation and for deduction. And fame. That is what makes me the one and only. Herlock Sholmes. He's gonna say air. Herlock Sholmes. Alright, let's talk about Kazuma now. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. Indeed. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two facts, you say? Ooh, more to talk about. Two facts. Mr. Sholmes, tell us please, what two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape from the culprit out of the question. Number two, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Because he wrote that on the ground in Russian. Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. I don't know how to say that. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? That makes absolutely no sense. Why would Excuse me, what? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why? Okay, so he's saying that like Ryunosuke killed him and then hid in, well, sorry, like he beat him over the head or something, hid in the wardrobe. Kazuma saw that and then wrote wardrobe on the floor instead of just writing his name. Something clearly doesn't add up here. In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? No, he's not. Initially, I considered Garderob may be the name of the killer. A certain Robert Gardet, perhaps? What? But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly? Quite so! I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. If my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. No! Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Oh, we're gonna get something here. I don't know if we're gonna get anything from this. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. It's still so upsetting that Kazuma's dead. He was so cool. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. Alright, we got the photograph. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that? Oh yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? I don't know what that means. Certainly, if it interests you. How many times... I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Alright. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how you got this. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean? Oh, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Ah, yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... And you think that's me? What? Dude, what? Ryunosuke looks nothing like that. Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Is the pun that his name is just villain Bolshevik? Villain Bolshevik. Bolshevik. I'm trying to figure out the pun there. Bolshevik. Bolshevik. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm just getting that his first name is villain, yeah. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night, the young Russian was murdered. Okay, so... I can see now we have to prove that we were on the ship from the beginning. Since when was Cosma a Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded that he was Russian because of what Cosma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. Villain Bolshevik. No. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Oh my god, that is quite the statement, my friend. Ugh, please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Oh yes, the journalists clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds of the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionists usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? What about the part where he said I was just returning from Afghanistan? I don't know, there's a lot to unpack here. Yeah, why is this guy spilling his guts to a news reporter? That seems odd. Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan. Are you serious, dude? Here, take this paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it. It's sometime if the interest takes you. It's sometime if the interest takes you. Though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Sure, we can do that. What's he have to say about this? This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Oh, I'm glad you noticed this article. Oh! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? Dude, it's the same way in every language. It would appear that the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 ruby. I don't know what that word is. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? Is that... Am I an idiot? Hang on. What is this word? Rubles? I need... Yeah. Like, I know it's the Russian currency. I'm just trying to see how to pronounce it. Is it ruby? Hang on. I think it might be ruby. Okay. I have no idea, but I'm quite sure. It must have been an unbelievable sum of money. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem that the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. Well, how do we know she didn't just run off with it? If it's so valuable, like, how do we know she was kidnapped? She could have just ran off with it. They requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. What does that mean? I'm not even going to dignify with that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Now, what are you talking about? It's such a Russian thing to do to leave their country. How could you say that? Look at this. This is now two different pieces of evidence now. Alright. What were you just investigating, my friend? Before we started talking, you were examining Cosmo's desk, weren't you? Cosmo? Oh yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Cosmo's keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I wanted to read that earlier, but Susato is like, no, it's too private. I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. I think you absolutely should. It's a murder case, my friend. Tragic. It's something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what is a Susato takedown is. Susato-san, Aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. Yeah, can I please get a translation? Or yeah, at least learn what it is, or what it says. It would appear that the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering! Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Ha. Are we speaking Japanese right now? Like... I'm trying to understand, like, how he can, like, say that, and then, like, we're gonna be, like, having full-on conversations in Japanese, whatever. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I could read precisely none. Ah! Oh, that's a funny animation there. So what was all that showing off about before, then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. What the heck? Why? I'm much obliged, my dear madame. How come he gets to read it? How come you get to read it, but I don't? The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I could hear a faint whistling sound. Whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? Well, let's look at the ventilator. I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to... yeah, that thing up there to the left. To the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. How do we know, like, someone didn't climb through the air duct to kill him, you know? Can we rule that possibility out? Alright, we've got the diary. Good to have. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Ah, do you have somewhere to go? It's a new pose from her. Yeah. As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. And if I'm still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No. That would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. And can we please talk about the paper on the wardrobe? Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. What? But in the intro, he was like, I'm going to reveal the killer in 3 seconds, and then he opened the wardrobe in 3 seconds. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. wouldn't have said that you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. You also called me the assassin of 16 people. Well, anyway. That was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ah! Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Are you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... Hio! Don't tell me she just broke the handcuffs off. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're going to just roll over and accept your fate? Ugh, as if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I didn't realize she was, like, hitting me for giving up. I thought she was trying to break off the handcuffs. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in the cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. What is there left to investigate? What? Can I speak to you now? Excuse me. What? I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Would you mind if I investigated a little outside? Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking prison guard to help him escape. Very funny. We're in the middle of the sea and there's no chance of me escaping. Yeah! You stay in this cabin until next ports. It is up to Hong Kong police to decide what they do with you. You stay! Alright. There's no point in trying to appeal to this man's better nature, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what there's left to do. That's nothing. That's nothing. I should be using my mouse. Yeah, I get better precision that way. What was the key to go over? Yeah, it was B. Was there really anything else? Let's see. Do I have the option of moving? Thanks to that so-called detective, I'm even more stuck inside this cabin than I was before. For the time being, I suppose I'll just have to focus my efforts on investigating in here. Okay, so there must be something left for me to investigate. Then. I'm gonna try re-investigating the desk. Maybe something new will pop up. Hang on. Or maybe I can look at the diary. Hang on. No, there's nothing. Also, how is this sentence incomplete? I thought they said the last one was incomplete. Maybe if I can re-investigate this. No, this doesn't appear to be new. Shit, what else is there? The door? Hang on. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy. It just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from the outside room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There will be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Oh, another person. Oh, look over there. Oh, hang on, is that the dude from the last case? The crewman, do you mean? He wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Yeah, is that Hosanaga? Why don't we try talking to him? Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. But I suppose I could try. Alright guys, I think this is a good time as any to end the episode here, because I feel like we might end up in a bit of dialogue that might take a bit, to get through. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Next time we'll definitely speak to this new crew member right here, right in front of us, and maybe head on over to the room next door and do a bit of investigating there, if possible. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you all have a good day. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye!